Welcome back. Let's take a look now at international trade and currencies. We kind of take it for granted. We go to Europe and we buy something and we exchange our money and we get a euro. We go to Mexico, exchange our money, we get pesos. People come here from Europe. They buy stuff in dollars. Well, how does all that work? Well, there's one of two basic ways that people can exchange their money, that governments allow exchange of their currency. One is floating exchange rates. This may sound crazy, but what is a euro worth? A euro is worth whatever someone's willing to pay for it. Just like when we were on the desert island, how much was the bottle of water worth? Whatever somebody's willing to pay for it. What is a loaf of bread worth? Whatever someone's willing to pay for it. Well, it's crazy because we don't think about a euro as something like a loaf of bread, right? But it really is. People buy and sell euros. There's a market for that. Supply and demand. You can go online right now and look at the exchange rate for euros. And it changes not every day. It changes every fraction of a second as people are buying and selling euros. Billions and billions of dollars every day. Those are floating exchange rates. So if you watch throughout the semester, you'll see that the exchange rate, for example, between the dollar and the euro changes. Well, some countries don't like that. So some countries want a fixed exchange rate. Fixed exchange rate is the government sets the exchange rate. Is that good or is that bad? Well, governments do it because they want to maybe make their currency cheap so that people will then buy the products and they can export more. Remember, when you export, money flows into the country. So I'm going to want to make my stuff cheaper. Or maybe I want to make it more valuable so I can buy other people's stuff. I can import more, make my country have a higher standard of living because people can buy goods from another country because my exchange rate is so high. The problem is that's a sort of artificial rate, artificial price. That's like saying, well, we're going to set the price of a hamburger at $50. Well, that would be good, but if anyone really bought it at $50. But probably what will happen is what we call a black market. The supply and demand will really determine what the exchange rate is. Another way to look at currencies is there's hard currencies and soft currencies. Hard currencies are those that are easily exchanged. The euro and the dollar, the euro and the yen, the dollar and the pound, the dollar and the yen. There's a large volume of currency that's exchanged, and there's no impediment to the exchange. Soft currencies are those which are difficult to exchange. They're difficult either because the government put a restriction on how much can be exchanged or because there's a very small market. If typically only $1 million gets exchanged from a particular country, like a bolivar to a dollar, if only, $1 million get exchanged a year, and now you come along and you want to buy 50 million bolivars, ouch. You're going to definitely change the market. Well, here's the question. Let's suppose a country puts a limit on the amount you can exchange. Russia has done this, for example. I'm going to put a limit on the amount of rubles that you can exchange for the dollar. Okay, but if I'm a company in Russia, I want to get my a U.S. company in Russia, and I want to get my money out of the country. How do I do that? Let me exaggerate and say, well, the Russians only allow you to exchange $15,000 a year, 15,000 worth of rubles. Well, if I'm making millions of dollars, I want them out. I want them in the U.S. I want them to be elsewhere so I can invest them. What do I do? Well, businesses are smart. There is a way around this. I know a guy does business in Russia. And the way he gets his money out is he buys Russian vodka with his profits. Takes all his profits, buys Russian vodka, ships the vodka to Switzerland, and then sells the vodka in Switzerland, and now he's got his money out. We call that counter trade. Important term to know, counter trade. It's just another example of where businesses get creative when governments try to get in their way. Business people are smart. Well, governments get involved in other ways. Here are some ways that governments get involved in trade. They can provide subsidies. They can help businesses. Canada was helping their lumber industry relative to the U.S., providing payments so that their lumber was cheaper and we'd buy it in the U.S. Tariffs have been in the news a lot these days. Tariffs are a tax on imports. Why do we do tariffs? Well, tariffs are typically done, to protect a business inside the country. So if we put a tariff on Japanese cars, we're trying to help the car business in the United States, because they'll say, oh, geez, now these Japanese cars are so expensive, maybe I should buy American cars. So most economists believe that tariffs are not a good thing. Who gets helped by a tariff? Well, the people that get helped by a tariff are the industry, like I gave the example of the car industry. The car industry gets helped if we put a tariff on Japanese cars. Who gets hurt? Everybody else in the United States, all the consumers. We pay more either for the Japanese car, or we say, oh, geez, I'm not going to buy a Japanese car. It's too expensive. Now I'm going to buy an American car. We pay more for that car. So tariffs hurt the consumers in the importing country. Why do we do it? Well, it's politics. In general, it's all politics. I'm going to help that one particular industry, or maybe other countries are putting tariffs on us, as has been the case with China, or they're stealing intellectual property, as has been the case with China, and we want to force them to change their policies. Quotas are not a tariff. They just say, I'm going to limit the amount of goods that can be imported. You can only import 10,000 cars from Japan, for example. An embargo is a ban, right? Just a quota of 0. You don't allow. And we typically do those to punish countries. Cuba, North Korea, Iran. Again, political reasons. And you'll hear people talk about dumping. Dumping is when you take a product and you sell it in another country at really, really low prices in order to gain market share and to knock that other business out. We'll continue some more of this in the next video.